How do I receive messages? Well, this is a question a lot of people ask me, and I decided to do a little video about it so that you could have an idea what it's like in my world. I receive messages in many different ways. And I think it's interesting that they think it's something special, they think it's something amazing that I do. And really, I do work very hard, but really, what I do has just taken a lot of practice trying to figure out what Spirit's saying to me. And I've had to kind of learn how to speak their language in a sense so that I can understand what kind of messages they're trying to send me for you. So a lot of the messages come through in sort of like bits and pieces. And it's sort of like a puzzle that I put together, that I have to find all the pieces and put it together and translate it and give it to you in a message that makes sense for what you're going through in that moment. And it's not really what Hollywood or what TV or the media makes it out to be, what a medium does. Um, there are many types of mediums. Some mediums are better at some things than others. So that's another thing to remember too, is that there's mediums that use their ability in many, many different ways. So for me, I call myself a psychic medium. Somebody may also say like a spiritual medium, but a medium is basically somebody who just acts as a bridge between this world and the spirit world or the energetic world. And so I can deliver messages from the other side, in a sense, or from your angels and guides or your pets or, or your loved ones that have passed on. So that's what I do. Now, I know that the media has shown us lots of amazing shows that have brought the job of mediumship to the forefront so we can see it, understand it better, so that we can accept it and realize that this is actually happening. This is a real thing. And I am really happy for the exposure and for the education that these shows have brought forth. And I think the thing to remember is that in order to make things interesting for people to watch them, they really do cut the best parts out of a lot of reading. So a medium may sit down to do a reading and you see these amazing, like just heart-stopping moments where the medium delivers these messages. And those moments they happen in almost every reading, but it is really a moment. It's taken out of context sometimes. So they cut the readings because it wouldn't be interesting to sit and watch the whole process on, like, say, a television program. So that's a good thing to understand, is that mediums receive messages in all different ways, and they receive different types of information depending on what they've really focused themselves into doing. So in my case, past loved ones come forward and they would deliver messages that would help uplift people and help people feel better about something that's happening in their life, or be able to talk to their loved one to have closure, it's just huge. I mean, there's no other substitute for feeling that kind of healing come into your life. So for me, I had to develop my 5 senses to the point where I could get to the 6th sense in a way. I guess you could say it that way. I really had to get to know myself. I had to get to know how I felt about things. What are my values and beliefs? Like, what do I feel about things? And then I had to develop the senses to kind of say, okay, my senses need to be heightened so that I can catch all these little nuances of energy that spirit will bring me. I also developed a spirit symbol book. So this is a symbol book that spirit can use the symbols that I know to communicate to me a specific message, which really does help. So there's certain symbols that they can show me, or actions that they make, that show me what has either happened to them or help me describe what they want to describe to their loved one. So I've kind of have these heightened 5 senses, and then I've developed my spirit language, my spirit symbol book, so I can talk to them, and I understand energy. So some of this, I believe you can develop your own ability to any height that you wish. It takes a little bit of work. It is like a muscle. The more you use it, the better it gets. So you do have to push yourself and challenge yourself to receive these types of messages. But what it looks like to me is sometimes I may have a scent, or I may hear something, but usually the hearing happens through my perception in my mind. It's not so much a physical sound. The physical sounds do happen on occasion, and that is a kind of a different form of communication, absolutely. But I usually hear things in my own head, in my own perception, and spirit has to work with my perception as well. I may actually see a color or a vision, or sometimes spirit takes me back to their memories, and I might see some memories that they've had, almost like playing like an old reel of film. I often might hear music, like a song, and that song may mean something to them, may communicate something they want to communicate. I can get a taste in my mouth. If a lot of times, if somebody was even a heavy smoker, I can smell cigarette smoke when they come into the room, or if they smoked cigars or pipes, like all those things, they come through very, very clearly. You can also feel their emotions. So I can feel how they feel. Sometimes within my physical body, I might feel some of the illness or injury they had, just so I can explain it to my client. So I can communicate in many ways, and I use all my senses. I use how I feel within a reading to take all these bits of information and try to make sense of them for you. And so I guess there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes that I can't really explain to you. It's hard to explain, but I can tell you that in order to do readings, I do have to open myself completely. So I open up my channel and be aware and awake to receive. And it does take some training to pay attention to all these small little messages. And sometimes spirit can come forward within the first 30 seconds of a reading and deliver enough information to last the whole hour. So I have to be really on my game to stay up with them, because they're a lot faster than we are, and they deliver messages a lot faster than we are. So I really have to be up on my game to get those kinds of messages and to be able to give you all the messages they give me. Now, spirit has a sense of humor. Sometimes you can hear their jokes, their inflection, their accents, and it really is quite a beautiful thing. But I want to strongly tell you that just because you have seen somebody who has been training and doing this work for years and they seem magical to you and amazing, I want to tell you that it's amazing to see somebody really good at their own craft, and that you can appreciate. But that doesn't mean that you can't use your own intuition too. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit, just because I want you to realize, really use your critical thinking, and I want you to realize that what we see in the media sometimes is not exactly the way it works. So I don't want you to feel intimidated that you can't do this on your own, because you absolutely can. So here's the thing. Using your intuition is empowerment for yourself. It's empowering in your own life to be able to use your intuition for everything that you need to use it for. And sometimes, you're in the right frame of mind and everything clicks together, and sometimes it's a little bit harder, but you still should keep trying. It's another tool in your tool belt. And the way that I receive messages may not be the way another medium does, but we still get the job done. So I want to thank you for your time today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Go check out my Facebook page. I have a free course right now on spiritual development. So 5 steps to developing your own spiritual practice. So take a look at that, and I hope to see you on the other side.